Has it been an okay morning for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm tired.
Just
I
can't
slept like 3
imagine.
hours.
Mike, ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Stand by.
All right.
How are you holding up?
Okay.
Well, we think lots of movies have special effects, and they usually do. And when we watch Armand Assante doing the mambo, playing the drums, and all of that, we might think it's a special effect. I saw you last night at Roseland. No special effects. You really can do this stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
Did you have to learn it fresh for this, or are you drawing upon a musical background somewhere?
No, I drew upon a musical background as a kid. I drummed, I sang, I didn't dance. But Mambo Kings was very intimidating because it required to do a lot in very little time. And I'm very grateful to the real Mambo Kings, Tito Puente and Celia Cruz and Mario Bauza, because without them I could never have even dared to impersonate.
When you appear with him early in the film, it's one of the most electrifying scenes in the picture. And did you guys have to choreograph your movements together?
Yeah,
Or?
we worked that out at my place I rented in LA there at 1 o'clock in the morning. Once we just worked it out together.
The neighbors must have loved
We
it.
didn't have a lot of time, but he's amazing. You know, he's the greatest timbale player in the world. And thank God I was a drummer, because I could have never even attempted to keep up with him. But you know, he was very, very supportive of me, as was all the real Mambo Kings. And I only say this because it's such an eclectic musical form, the era of the mambo. And it was a time in American musical history, one of the most exciting musical times in American history, where you had this fusion of Afro, Cuban, Latin, jazz, swing, bop, all fused into one. And all that music is in the film, which is great.
It's interesting.
But it's essentially a story of the American dream, of two brothers who come. It's the eternal immigrant story to achieve success.
Today, that kind of assimilation, fusion, diversity is very politically correct, as they say, but the mambo was doing it a long time ago.
Yeah, the mambo is very prevalent in American society, and has been. And with this film, it'll probably resurface, but the fact is it's always been here. Today we have salsa derivations of it, and all kinds of Latin dances that are derivations of that era. But that era is what began probably one of the most exciting, sexy, really hot times in American history. You know, it was the first dance where a woman really was allowed to declare her sexuality with a man. I mean, remember the tango was a male-dominated dance. The mambo was the first time a woman, you know, showed her stuff on the floor, and in a very sophisticated, you know, innuendo.
It's great when a dance takes on these other connotations. It's more than just music. There's gender and society and cultural assimilation.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
in just a dance.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's fascinating because if you think of the rumba, which I'm not that familiar with, but I know that for a fact the rumba came out of slaves. The rumba was a dance that grew out of slaves because slaves were bound in chains, and they could only move their feet in 2 steps. And the rumba evolved from being in chains and being able to sing and be in chains. And those are the only 2 ways that slaves were allowed to express themselves. And therein came the rumba. All dances have these incredible histories. They go back in cultural roots. And most dances have amazing flamenco is another thing that came out of, you know, oppression and suffering.
There has been a whole article devoted to you recently, trying to establish once and for all just what your nationality is, where you grew up. People get confused, it would seem.
I'm a New Yorker. It's difficult to accept.
Let's just
that.
take a couple of seconds. Yeah, you grew up near Brooklyn, correct? Or
Washington
Queens?
Heights, Upper West Side.
Uh-huh.
Upper West Side, Manhattan, yeah.
And then in LA for a while.
No, I lived upstate. I went to school upstate, and then I went back to my old neighborhood, the Upper West Side, put myself through school. I didn't go to LA until I was in the theater here and abroad for 10 years.
So Armand, is that a first
Derivation
name?
of Armando.
And that's somewhere in your family?
Armando was my father, Armando. He dropped the O.
Uh-huh. And then Assante itself goes
It's
back.
Italian, Naples, Italy.
So I guess this means, like an Anthony Quinn, you're somebody well-equipped to kind of go lots of directions when needed. This is a great plus, I would think.
Yeah, I've been given all the ethnic everyman roles.
And also, look at this handsome face. One of the great villains in recent times in Q&A. I have to work that in.
Thank you.
Thank you for that one.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. That was fun.
He is one of the Mambo Kings. No special effects here. This is a real thing.
Thank you so
Armand
much.
Assante.
Thank
I'm
you.
John Tibbetts in New York City. We're talking about the Mambo Kings for KCTV5.
Great, man.
Oh, well, thank you.
Boy, we need